This is a 1/64 scale model of the Enzo Ferrari. There have only been 399 of the actual car ever built, and there's never going to be any more. With a starting price in the millions, the originals were not to be sold to just anyone. All buyers first needed to be hand-picked and deemed worthy to pay Ferrari ludicrous amounts of money. Jeremy Clarkson, the chief spokesman of Top Gear, called this car the performance benchmark, the division bell between the ordinary and the absolutely astonishing. The heads of Ferrari were so pleased with the new flagship that they named it after their deceased founder, Mr. Enzo Ferrari, as his official legacy. Regardless of whether or not you enjoy cars, this is still one of the most prestigious vehicles in the world and is nothing short of a technological masterpiece. Now let's imagine that you own this car. With a V12 engine and 660 horsepower, it is capable of going 218 miles an hour, or 360 kilometers an hour. There's only one catch with this. In this beautiful flashy Ferrari of yours, the cruise control is required to be on constantly. It can only be set to a maximum of 55 miles an hour, or 88 kilometers an hour. You can still drive the car, it still sounds great, it looks great, it can get you to the grocery store, but you never get out of second gear. It is clearly usable, but does it not seem to be utilizing only a fraction of its total potential? During the Proverbs Bible study, we're going to be focusing on how to effectively push the cruise control higher and get to where we want to quicker, more efficiently, and in a generally much more enjoyable fashion than merely plunking along down the road. Think of any overwhelmingly successful person that you admire, regardless of if they are in business, sports, politics, or even particularly ministry. Oprah Winfrey, Roger Federer, Abraham Lincoln, and Billy Graham are all extremely successful largely in part because they learned how to raise their cruise control. Even in my own life, I decided to implement this key and went from taking blessings for granted to being, in my humble opinion, someone who appreciates a far greater majority of things that life throws at me, even looking at life in general from a much better perspective. Everywhere I look, the most successful people I see have upped their cruise control level, and the most successful times in my life are the times when I did the same. The key I refer to is habits, and not just breaking off bad habits, but creating new and better ones. Oprah, the richest woman in modern history, decided to make the habit of never eating alone. Roger Federer, the most winning tennis player to date, has a workout routine that he has done for many years and will continue to do for many more. Billy Graham, one of the most widespread evangelists ever to exist, wakes up every morning and proceeds to read 5 Psalms and a proverb before doing anything else. Even Jesus Christ himself, our Lord and Savior, knew the effectiveness of visual word pictures and became very skilled in the art. He then made it a point to use them in a large amount of his life-giving sermons. We think a lot, but perhaps not as much as we might suppose. A ton of what we do today is based on what we did yesterday. Studies have shown that 40 to 45% of our actions are habits. Not only is this key crucial for success, the lack of it is a key to unlock mediocrity. As I looked at Oprah's life in preparing for this, there were huge lists of things that she actively pursued to change and add to her life through habit forming and general practices. Understand that it is important to have quality habits if you want to utilize all 218 miles an hour of your life. But the best part is that it isn't even difficult. It just needs to be figured out ahead of time.
And in particular, we've learned the neurological structure of a habit.
He says that we tend to think of habits as a single thing, but actually,
Each habit has 3 components. There's a cue, which is like a trigger for a behavior to start. And then there's a routine, which is the behavior itself. And then finally, a reward, which is how our brain learns to encode that automatic behavior for the future. And one of the big differences is that for years when people thought about habits, they focused in on the routine, on the behavior. But what we now know is that it's these cues and these rewards that really shape how habits occur and how to change them. There was a big study that was done about how to create exercise habits. And so what they did is they told a group of people, okay, first of all, choose an obvious cue. Always go running at the same time every day, or put your workout clothes next to your bed so that you see them first thing when you wake up. And then they said, and then go for a run or go work out. And when you get back from exercising, give yourself a small piece of chocolate. Now, this is kind of counterintuitive, right? Because people who are exercising are trying to lose weight, not eat more chocolate. And yet what the researchers knew is that their brain needed that reward. Their basal ganglia needed some reward. And what they found was that people who ate a small piece of chocolate after coming home from a run or a workout, they were much more likely to start exercising habitually.
So, according to Charles, whether you want to break a habit or start a new habit, the key is to divide the habit into its component parts, cue, routine, and reward, and design it for the result that you want.
I'll be honest that I don't actually know how Oprah developed all of her mega successful habits, or the theology on if Jesus actually needed to learn his teaching style. But the fact is that all of these people who I mentioned ultimately decided ahead of time what would benefit them. This is why we read the Bible in general, but Proverbs specifically. We study the wisdom to gain insight as to what the desired reaction should be ahead of time, and then we utilize the habit-building fundamentals to achieve the desired outcome. It's all about premeditating on the cues and rewards. Pick a very specific time or situation, decide what you want the desired outcome to be, and then design a reward system. Again, these are all things that the study will be focused on. You are of course not obligated to join in every day, but I would definitely encourage you to pick a few days out of your schedule to join in on the study and find a practical application for the day or week and hopefully your life. As a promise, you are very similar to the Ferrari in that you are definitely capable of doing exceedingly great things. Beginning with this brain training will be extremely valuable for obtaining greater success and meeting your maximum potential.